My name is Zoltan Majdik. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Communication at North Dakota State University. And my ND-ACES role is I'm one of the leads of the Public Communication and Dissemination section. My research outside of ND-ACES is in a field called rhetoric of science, where we basically analyze and research what language people use to communicate about complex matters. That could be how scientists talk about scientific issues. It could be how scientists talk to the public. It could be how people in the general population talk about complex matters of technology, medicine, science. And we're researching the kind of language that people use to frame these issues, that people use to make decisions that involve scientific matters, that people use to make judgments about how they should be managing scientific issues in their day-to-day lives. On the ND-ACES team, I'm, like I said before, one of the co-leads, or one of the leads in the Communication Dissemination section. We basically have three main roles. One of them is to work on internal communication, how we inside the team communicate. ND-ACES is a very complex and big cross-institutional projects, and so managing communication platforms, managing communication processes internally is something that we do. We're also looking or working on dissemination of the work that ND-ACES does to stakeholders across the state, to legislators, to publics, to university presidents, and so on. And we're working on public engagement to get people to understand not just what we do, but why we do it, and why it matters for their lives and for the state of North Dakota, using science cafes and seminars and events like that. I think the work that we do is important because, at least in my view and based on my research kind of area, science isn't just something that's done in the labs, right? Science is something that is social, that people use to make judgments about how to live their lives, about the medical choices they make for themselves and their children, about who to vote for and why they should vote for them. So science is social, it's political, it's not something that we can just confine to one area and to a university campus. And so what I do in my research, what we do on the communication dissemination side in ND-ACES is really kind of work with that broader conceptualization of what science is. And I think that's one of the reasons why students, graduate students, undergraduate students, should come kind of engage with that, because I think anyone that works with us, they get a understanding of science that sees it on that broader scale, that understands the reach that science has on the daily lives of people, the activities that go on in a state, in the medical enterprise, and so on. And so if we were to, for example, talk to a high school student and think about how they should be, or why they should be working with us, I think that's what I would tell them, is that if you get to see a side of science, a side of scientific practice that transcends just the narrow lab environment. That, of course, matters as well. But again, in my view, science happens in other areas as well, happens on a broader scale, and seeing that, understanding that, I think really opens pathways for professional careers and opens a new understanding of what we do and why what we do actually matters.